Hello, and welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Gwen Jacobsen, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 117, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. So this week's edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press is dated Friday, June 25th, 2021. And on the front page, there's a huge picture of the West Gladstone pool. It says, "Splash of Cash for New Pool in Gladstone" by Kira Patterson. The municipality of Westlake Gladstone got a rather large injection of funding for two recreational projects recently. On Friday, June 18th, the Manitoba government announced a round of grants from their Building Sustainable Communities Fund, with $300,000 going to the construction of a new pool in Gladstone and $11,583 going to upgrades at the Langruth Anerson Park and Campground. Nicole Sellers, Recreation Director for Westlake Gladstone, noted that these grants were applied for earlier this year by herself and Andrea Smith of the municipality's finance department. Building Sustainable Communities has been a huge contributor in enhancing many projects within the municipality of Westlake Gladstone in the past, and we have built a great relationship with them, Sellers stated. And it goes on to say, she said they were notified of the pool grant before learning about the park grant, and it was very exciting to find out that they were receiving money for not one, but two local projects. The $300,000 grant for the pool brings the municipality just over halfway to securing all the funds needed for the project. It felt amazing to just take a deep breath knowing we are that much closer to our new pool. To be granted $300,000, it makes me feel more relieved when looking at the numbers and how we achieve our goal in the timeline, Sellers stated. The current pool facility in Gladstone is over 50 years old, being built in 1967 as a centennial project. The municipality decided it was long overdue for an upgrade. The main tank of the swimming pool is still concrete. You don't usually see that anymore, as most pools are constructed with a PVC membrane shell that can resist higher levels of chlorine. The municipality put out a request for proposals for construction of a new pool in April of 2020. Western Recreation was the successful applicant, and we have been working with them since, stated Sellers. After hearing some ideas and looking around at our current pool, they made a preliminary drawing to provide us. Our proposed timeline is to start some of the construction in the fall of 2022, then they would finish at the end of May 2023. Sellers noted that the project is estimated to cost about $1.25 million and will include not only a new pool, but updates to the change rooms and washroom facilities to make them more accessible. With the cost of materials changing constantly, we are keeping a close eye on the budget to make sure we are still in line with our end goal of the pool being completed in the spring of 2023. We will be sending out sponsorship packages shortly to help us fund some of the pool, and are always welcoming any donations at the municipal office, which is at 14 Dennis Street East in Gladstone. We are also partnering with Plumas Prairie Initiatives, Inc. for a raffle and a 50-50. But we are just in the process of getting a lottery license before we can launch that fundraiser and start selling tickets. She added that they will also be applying for more grants and planning some smaller fundraisers that the pool staff will be able to participate in. The new pool will be located in the same area as the current one, Williams Park, but not in the exact same spot. Council has made the decision to move it over to the southwest side of the current buildings to offer more space on the east end of the park for the possibility of future growth of campsites. The construction will begin in the fall of 2022 and continue through the winter, with work being done on the structural components starting in the new year. One of the pool's structural components is the Echo Pool system, which is patented galvanized steel powder-coated double wall panel system. Although it is winter, there will be heaters in this crawl space of an area where the plumbers will be located. This is probably one of the many features I'm excited about, so our public works team won't need to jackhammer the pool deck to assess any plumbing issues. It involves a lot of hard work to raise over $1 million in such a short period of time. However, the pool that is located in Gladstone offers a great space to improve the physical, mental, and social well-being. And after the last year and a half with this pandemic, I believe it will be a perfect place to stay connected to help improve the well-being of individuals and to add sustainability to new infrastructure for the years to come. The grant of $11,583 for Anerson Park in Langruth will cover half of the cost of the upgrades happening there. There are a few things the municipality will be working on at the park. We are wanting to upgrade our sign, landscaping, and campground enhancements, such as picnic tables and fire pits, explained Sellers. After the pool grant news, we were thrilled that we received this additional funding to enhance the development of Anerson Park. In closing, Sellers expressed, "I am so grateful to be part of a municipality that has support for many different individuals, businesses, federal, provincial, and government grants, surrounding communities and visitors. The connections and relationships that I've been able to make in the year and a half that I've been in this position has taught me when we all work together, great things will be achieved." And this is a tentative layout image showing the new pool as being 2,684 square feet. And the new pool will be located to the southwest of where the current pool is. Well, that's great. So now on to provincial plans for reopening is unveiled. Manitoba is moving ahead with the loosening of restrictions related to COVID-19. On Wednesday, June the 23rd, the province announced that effective 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, June 26th, all Manitobans will benefit from the following changes. Outdoor gathering sizes on private property to double to 10 persons, and to allow outdoor visitors to briefly assess homes for essential activities, example, to use a washroom. Public outdoor gathering sizes to increase to 25 persons. Retail businesses to open with increased capacity at 25% to a limit of 250 persons, with no restrictions on the number of household members permitted to shop together. Personal service businesses such as hair and nail salons, estheticians, barbers, etc., to reopen at 50% capacity on an appointment basis only. Restaurants and bars to reopen at 25% capacity for indoors and 50% for outdoor dining. For indoor dining, patrons seated together must be from the same household, unless all patrons at the table are fully immunized. Patrons who are fully immunized and from different households may dine together. For outdoor dining, tables are limited to a maximum of 8 patrons and can be from different households regardless of immunization status. Indoor faith-based services and organized community gatherings to resume at 25% capacity to a limit of 25 persons with masks worn at all times. Outdoor faith-based and organized community gatherings to resume for up to 50 persons, provided distance can be maintained between households. Drive-in services continue to be permitted. Outdoor weddings and funerals may take place with up to 25 participants in addition to photographer and officiants. Indoor weddings and funerals remain limited to 10 people. Indoor dance, music, theater, and other organized sports and recreation activities may reopen at 25% capacity to a limit of 5 persons, with no tournaments allowed. Outdoor dance, music, and theater classes and other organized recreation activities may reopen for groups up to 25 people with no tournaments allowed also. Swimming and wading pools, both indoor and outdoor, may reopen at 25% capacity. Gyms and fitness facilities may reopen for individual and group fitness classes at 25% capacity with 3 meters distance maintained between patrons. And the last one, summer day camps may reopen to a maximum of 20 participants in groups. There are extra benefits coming for those that are fully vaccinated. Manitobans who are fully immunized, meaning 2 vaccine doses plus 2 weeks from the time of their second dose, will now benefit from the following exemptions. Visit loved ones in personal care homes or hospitals, participate in social or communal activities if you are a resident of a personal care home or congregate living facility. Travel domestically for essential and non-essential purposes outside of Manitoba without the requirement to self-isolate on their return, and dine indoors at restaurants and bars with other fully immunized friends and family from outside your household. Large-scale outdoor professional sports or performing arts events may also allow fully immunized Manitobans to attend, subject to approval by Manitoba Public Health. The province will work with sports and arts organization to implement proof of vaccination protocols for these events. Following the COVID-19 safety fundamentals, including indoor mask use and physical distancing, is still required. The next article is entitled Farmers Market Season Kicks Off in Neepawa. Summer has officially started, and what better way to kick it off than with fresh homegrown and homemade products. Arts Forward's first farmers market of the season takes place this Thursday, June 24th, and will once again be running weekly throughout the summer. The market will be every Thursday from 4 to 6, as they have been in previous years. We're running right from the last week of June until the first week of September. Now, things may change during the summer, as we all know, but right now, that's what our permit says, explained Rain Pryor, Director of Programming for Arts Forward. Because the market is considered retail, as proposed to a gathering, the current public health orders allow for it to happen with some capacity restrictions. Because it was allowed last summer, and even when restrictions went down in late August last summer, we figured it would probably be allowed this year, so I put the application in, she explained. Pryor noted that they applied for a market permit about 3 months ago and finally heard back at the beginning of June. Pryor reiterated that the farmers market is not going to be a place where you go to socialize, like it has been in normal years. It's actually very specifically not social. We're not allowed to have musical performances, which we've had in the past years, or things like the face painter, stuff like that, which we've done in the past. You're not allowed to do any of that. It's just a market. In addition to those restrictions, the market will have one entrance and one exit, with visitors limited to going in one direction. The vendors will also be spaced out. Only 10 customers will be allowed in at a time, and hand sanitizer will be available at the entrance and at every vendor table. It's pretty much exactly the same as last year because we were very diligent about it last year. So if you were at the market last year, you know what you're going to be seeing this year. While traditional stores currently have to limit patrons to one person per household, except in cases with a parent and child or a person with a caregiver, Arts Forward won't have to worry about that with their market. Because we're outdoors, that doesn't apply to this. However, we tend to only see one person per household coming through the market. She prior noted that the only thing they have to restrict in terms of people coming through is how many are in at a time. It tends to flow fairly quickly because it doesn't take a long time to get through the market, even when you're stopping at every table. Prior noted that all the feedback she's seen since they announced the farmers market starting has been positive. The universal response that I have received is, we're very glad this is happening because we've had very few events, and this isn't an event per se, but it is something new to go and do. Also, our vendors were quite pleased that we were able to have this outlet because they, of course, are limited to what they can sell. You can't sell off your own property right now, that kind of thing. So having the space where they come out into the community and sell is really important too. So, Helen Drysdale, out of Helen's Kitchen. This week her article is entitled War Brides. After World War II, as the Canadian men returned home to Canada to resume civilian lives, many awaited for the 48,000 overseas war brides and their 22,000 children to join them. The majority of war brides were from England, with the remaining number from Holland, Belgium, France, Italy, and Germany. The young women had seen never-ending bombings, had a fear of impending invasion, or lived under Nazi occupation and often near starvation. The heightened emotions of war made romance especially passionate. The young Canadian soldiers, many of whom were away from home for the first time, were homesick and wanted to have a good time. Since the British men were away fighting when the handsome Canadians arrived, the young women found the Canadians appealing. They had money to spend, and their stories of Canada were intriguing. Romances blossomed quickly. Knowing their time together may not be long, many of the young couples married quickly with little acquaintance. The bride-to-be produced a letter from her clergyman or employer that she is a person of good character, and the groom-to-be a letter from his commanding officer that he was allowed to marry, and all was good to go. Brief honeymoons were enjoyed before the husbands left for battle, some never to return. When the war ended, the husbands went home with their units, while the wives filled out numerous application forms. When their travel documents were ready, the wives said their tearful goodbyes to family and friends without knowing if they would ever see them again. They embarked on crowded, beat-up old troop ships named bride ships. They were homesick, seasick, and lovesick, said one war bride. They were given train tickets for their destinations to join their husbands in Canada. As many of the brides had children with them, the trains were dubbed the diaper special. Many war brides experienced culture shock, and many were disillusioned by what awaited them upon arrival. The stories of the house and properties owned had been greatly exaggerated. Many went to their new homes to find wood stoves, outhouses, no running water, and no electricity, all of which they had enjoyed in England. At times, the new families were not too pleased with the new bride, and their displeasure of their son's choice showed. They were introduced to new foods and reintroduced to foods that they had not seen over the war years. These women were struck by the abundance of food in Canada, as most of them had endured 5 years of food rationing and hunger. Many former city women settled in very rural areas, and it was a completely new way of life and incredibly lonely. They learned how to prepare wild game like moose, deer, and rabbit, plant gardens, raise chickens, and learn one end of a cow from another. Clubs were established, especially on the prairies by war brides, and acted as support groups. There were possibly more clubs on the prairies because war brides who moved to farms had a much tougher time adjusting to Canada and placed more value on meeting with women who shared the same experience. In larger cities, war brides were more easily immersed into Canadian culture. Most overcame the obstacles they faced and became involved in their communities. Once they immigrated to Canada, some of the women never returned to their home countries and never saw their families again. Living so far away was challenging, but they stayed connected with their families through letters, phone calls, and packages sent through the mail. To help these new brides adjust, the Canadian government published Welcome to War Brides, in which, among other things, it informed the wives that they should not spend too much time openly displaying their loneliness for their old friends and family and homesickness for the old country. The booklet suggested they keep busy and interested. That's the best cure-all. The Canadian Cookbook for British Brides provided recipes and tips. Tips such as making a good cup of coffee, noting, "We certainly shan't try to tell you how to make a good cup of tea, but you might find some pointers on coffee making useful." Or that their Canadian husbands preferred pie of any sort over suet pudding and took cream in their coffee, not hot milk. So with that in mind, I have a pie recipe, and it is called rhubarb cream cheese pie. Next we have the Spruce Plains RCMP report by Corporal Jacob Stanton. During the week of June the 14th to June 20th, Spruce Plains RCMP dealt with 57 police activities. On June 14th, RCMP responded to a commercial alarm in Neepawa that was later determined to be false. Police conducted various traffic enforcement, engaging with several motorists, and numerous tickets were issued for speeding. June 15th, RCMP responded to a report of a person causing a disturbance at a business in Minnedosa. Police learned the person was breaching numerous court orders. The matter is still under investigation. Police responded to a break and enter at a residence in Neepawa. The investigation is ongoing. Police conducted a COVID compliance check at a residence in the RM of North Cypress Langford, and all persons were found complying with quarantine regulations. On June 16th, RCMP were dispatched to a single vehicle rollover in the RM of Oakview. It was determined that the driver hit the shoulder, overcorrected, and then went into the ditch. The driver sustained no injuries. Police received a report of a disturbance between neighbors in Glenella. All parties were spoken to, and the issue was resolved without incident. Police responded to a theft of fuel complaint in Rapid City and a fraud report in Neepawa. There was insufficient evidence to proceed in both matters. June 17th, RCMP responded to a report of a suspicious person at a residence in Neepawa. Police attended and did not locate anyone. Police received 2 hit-and-run reports in Neepawa. There was insufficient evidence to proceed further in both matters. On June 18th, RCMP received a report of a disturbance in Minnedosa. Police attended and spoke with all involved parties, and the issue was resolved without further incident. Police responded to a commercial alarm in the municipality of Westlake Gladstone and a residential alarm in the RM of North Cypress Langford. Both were determined to be false. On June 19th, RCMP responded to a vehicle hitting a deer in Minnedosa. The driver was not injured, but the vehicle was towed as it was significantly damaged. Police conducted a COVID compliance check in the municipality of Westlake Gladstone. All persons were found complying with quarantine regulations. June 20th, RCMP responded to a COVID compliance complaint in Neepawa. After investigation, the matter was deemed unfounded. Police received a report of a vehicle versus deer collision in the RM of North Cypress, Langford. The vehicle was still drivable and the deer was not located. RCMP conducted 19 traffic enforcement actions during this reporting period. And here we have a picture of a couple from Plumas winning a student-made hunting blind. It says, "We have a winner. The holders of the lucky ticket for the hunting blind raffle at the William Morton Collegiate on Friday, June 18th were Eric and Robin Dirksen of Plumas. The luxury blind was built by the school's shops class as a year-end project and to raise money for future projects. The class, taught by Trevor Lang, was comprised of students Brendan Palmer, Brock Sigurdsson, Ryland Dembo, and Justin Spurl." And this article is entitled, "This is not a trailer, this is a home," by Owen Devereaux. A well-established Neepawa business has expanded its reach into a quickly growing market, as This and That Manufacturing Limited has launched a new division focused on the construction and sale of park model mobile homes. For those unfamiliar with the concept, a park model home is neither an RV or a manufactured home. These types of dwelling are often 12 feet wide and no more than 538 square feet, and designed for long-term or permanent placement in seasonal lots, such as beach properties and mobile home parks. The major contrast to a park model is that they are able to have decks, patio covers, or carports permanently attached to them. On Tuesday, June 15th, a small group of individuals had the chance to tour the Neepawa-based facility where the homes will be constructed. They were shown two park models, one of which was 428 square feet of space and another which was 536 square feet. Those seeing the dwellings for the very first time were extremely impressed with them, noting that they didn't have a mobile home look or feel to them. Production manager Rob Moman of This and That Manufacturing Limited said that that's exactly the point, ensuring anyone who buys these homes feels at home in them. Park models are a tough thing to define if you haven't seen them before, because you really have to come and see them. People really don't appreciate it until they walk in the door and they go, "Oh my gosh, this is not a trailer, this is a home." Moman added that there hasn't really been much of a market for these types of homes in the province until recently. He said recent improvements in design and construction have allowed manufacturers to adapt them to be able to keep them cool in the summer and warm in the winter. A pair of park model homes will be on display, with one already located at Creekside Campground in Portage La Prairie. Another model will be able to be viewed in Neepawa. This and That Manufacturing Limited Director Corrine Moman told the Banner Press that the early response has been incredible. She attributes that positive reaction to the wide variety of options that will be available. "We've received some really positive interest here, numerous inquiries and calls already coming in. There are so many people looking for something different from what is out there right now. A lot of other park model homes that are pretty much they're pretty much an assembly line style, not many options for individuality, for making it your own. We didn't want to be like that. The way we will be constructing these park homes can really shape this for you. The colors and style of the floors, cabinets, walls, just anything really. It's not a cookie cutter." Neepawa Mayor Blake McCutcheon and Economic Development Officer Marilyn Crew, were amongst the group who toured the homes. McCutcheon was quick to praise the operation and what they're trying to accomplish. He said, "I'm so proud of our local entrepreneurs here that have the courage to go ahead and do this. I mean, Rob and Corrine are moving forward with this project. It's pretty spectacular what they have done here." Crew acknowledged that what This and That has been able to do here in creating a new expansion of the business is quite impressive. She also said that when it comes to economic development in a community, most of the notable growth will come from businesses from within. The starting base price for the park home models will be $87,500, with construction of the individual homes estimated between 10 to 12 weeks. Additional information can be found at thisandthatmanufacturing.ca. And I'm not going to read all of these grants, but the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation has an annual report for the year ending 2020. And there's just a message from the president, Brent Sorensen. So I'm just going to read that part. 2020 has been a year like no other, and the same could be said for the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation. In 2020, the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation celebrated our 25th anniversary of providing grants to qualifying organizations within the town of Neepawa, rural municipality of Rosedale, rural municipality of Glenella Lansdowne, and the Langford portion of the rural municipality of North Cypress Langford. Due to the global COVID-19 pandemic that reached Manitoba in March 2020, our annual grant luncheon was cancelled in 2020. However, we still provided grants and scholarships of $172,850 in 2020 to our communities. Additionally, as part of the celebration of our 25th anniversary, we also held a 25 days of giving draw, where 25 randomly drawn organizations each received a share of $25,000, ranging in amounts from $500 to $5,000. Our 25th anniversary celebrations did not end there, with a random acts of kindness celebration where we gave out an additional $2,500 that was awarded to local business supporters of the foundation for the purpose of being granted to a charity or organization of their choice. Furthermore, we also distributed a total of $70,000 in funds to area organizations through Community Foundations of Canada grants related to the COVID-19 global pandemic. In June of 2020, we saw Shelley Graham complete her 6-year term as a board member of the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation. The board would like to thank Shelley for her valuable contributions to the board through our meetings and many community events that she assisted in during her time on the board of the foundation. Brad Walker concluded his term as the president of the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation in June 2020 as well. Brad's leadership and guidance through his term as president did not go unnoticed and was greatly appreciated by all who served on the board during that time. In December 2020, we welcomed Sarah Fast as a new board member. We look forward to her contributions in the future. As the president of the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation, I am extremely proud of our board members for their contributions this year. This past year has been challenging from a board perspective, having to hold our meetings virtually. It was a challenge that we all persevered through. Helping guide us through all these times is our Executive Director, Brenda Krischuk. Brenda continues to provide the board with the direction needed for all of us to succeed, while displaying dedication and a strong passion to the success of the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation. Her direction has guided us through these most challenging times, bringing everyone on the board of directors along to ensure that our meetings can be as productive and efficient as possible during these uncertain times. While the board had plans for multiple events throughout the course of 2020 to celebrate our 25th year, the pandemic forced us to cancel many of these events. Despite the cancellation of many of our special events planned for the 2020 year, along with many of those events that everyone has come to know the foundation for hosting, we were able to have another successful year as a foundation in large part to our supporters. Without the continued support of the community, we would not be in the position we are today, and for that I sincerely thank you. While we are uncertain of any special events occurring during the 2021 year, at this time due to COVID, we will be hosting the annual Giving Challenge again in November in conjunction with the support from NDOW Manitoba and the province of Manitoba. Thank you to all of you in our communities who have supported us in some way in the past. We look forward to any continued support that you can provide, allowing us to continue to make a difference in our communities every year. The 2020-2021 Board of Directors are as follows: President Brent Sorensen, Vice President Keith Jury, Treasurer Ian Thompson, Ann Kaharski, Ashley McCoggan, Brad Walker, Jack Falk, Jeffrey Miner, Marilyn Crew, Mark Morehouse, and Sarah Fast. Now, for community news, Kinsman Courts hires new executive director and starts a fundraising campaign. Kinsman Courts 2 is getting prepared for its eventual opening. Neepawa Kinsman Senior Citizens Incorporated has now hired an executive director for the new seniors housing complex, and a fundraising campaign has begun to help pay for furnishing the facility. Dana Menzies is the new executive director for Kinsman Courts 1 and 2, the latter of which is still under construction. Menzies is coming into this job after working at the Country Meadows Personal Care Home for 8 years. Seniors, I've always said, is my passion, and that's why I came to this role, just because I wanted to advance my career with seniors, and especially in our Neepawa community, she stated. Although the new facility isn't scheduled to open until the fall, there is still lots for Menzies to work on in the meantime. She said, right now, I'm kind of touching base with some of the applicants that have already put in their application, just to give them an update on how things are progressing and what we're gearing up towards. And now I'm trying to do a lot more with our fundraising campaign. Otherwise, just developing what we're going to need to do as far as the assisted living component, as far as job postings, and kind of figuring out what we're really going to need in order to open this facility. One of Menzies' main focuses right now is looking for an executive chef for the new complex, as there will be a restaurant in the building with a meal plan included in the rent for residents. That's going to be a big part of this building. Applications are now being accepted for the position. Come fall, when Kinsman Courts 2 is up and running, Menzies will be looking after a lot of the regular activity in the place. I'll be responsible for all the day-to-day functions as far as the residents and if they're happy. I'll be in charge of the staff for the housekeeping and the laundry and the recreation. While the actual construction of Kinsman Courts 2 has been sorted out financially, there are a lot of other expenses that will need to be covered to finish the space. The Beautiful Plains Community Foundation donated $12,575 to help kick off the facility's fundraising efforts to furnish the space. On behalf of the Neepawa Kinsman Senior Citizens Incorporated, we are very appreciative of the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation, Menzies stated. Our goal is to raise $300,000 locally, and this grant is just a reflection of our generous community. She added that they've reached out to the surrounding municipalities and Neepawa area organizations to request support. We hope that other community members will be just as generous and support us in our project. We are using these donations to purchase furnishings, recreation and landscaping, and it's just a big project that we're really excited about, and it's going to benefit our community immensely. And it goes on to say Grant Lucan, board president, added that any donations made will be tax deductible. I know we have a good community here to raise funds, and we're really in need. We've never really asked for any funding for the project, so we're hoping that the community can get together and raise our $300,000 so we can finalize the building, Lucan stated. As far as where the project is at the construction process, there is still lots of work going on. It's a little behind schedule, but hopefully we'll get it back on track over the next month or so if the weather stays good, Lucan stated. He noted that the outside stucco is still in process, which is about an 8-week project. Inside, the drywall is going up, and Lucan explained that that's a big undertaking, as all the walls will be 3 layers thick. We're all boarded up to, I think, the 3rd floor, he shared. The lower level, the basement, is actually painted. Some of the frames and doors are painted. Lucan added that the drywall in the main floor is on hold at the moment, waiting on some ducting, but they're busy drywalling, taping, and mudding in the rest of the building. The facility will have 48 suites, 15 of which will be subsidized to offer lower rates. Each suite has 1 bedroom, a bathroom, a kitchenette, and apartment sizes vary from 450 to 560 square feet. Prices range from just over $1,700 a month to over $2,800, depending on which suite and if it will be one person or a couple living there. All utilities and services are included in the monthly rental fees. The building has shared laundry facilities on each living floor, as well as commercial laundry in the basement. Meals will be provided from the restaurant on the main floor, while that floor also houses recreational space. Menzies noted that there have already been 42 applications put in requesting a suite, so anyone interested should not hesitate to put in an application. Even those who are only just considering the possibility can put in an application, because they are not obligated to take a suite if they later decide they don't want to. Anyone interested in applying can call 431-351-0611 or email kinsmancourts2@yahoo.com or visit the website kinsmancourts2.ca to get an application form. Okay. And there is road recovery underway in Neepawa. The planned microsurfacing of about 20,000 square meters of road in Neepawa has begun. On Tuesday, June 15th, CanWest Seal Coating Inc., the company selected to do the work, recently informed Mayor Blake McCutcheon that barring any unforeseen circumstances, they would be able to start work within the community very shortly. On Tuesday, June 27th, preliminary work and evaluation on the road by WestCan employees had started. The areas of road that WestCan are working on include Brown Avenue between Hospital Street and Adelaide Crescent, and Hamilton Street from Walker Avenue to the bridge near Broadway Avenue. A section of Brown near the flats will not be part of the microsurfacing plans, as severe washouts can minimize the microseal's ability to properly adhere. That section will actually be repaved, though the work will be happening at a later date. Microsurfacing is a surface treatment for roads. It is laid over the top of the existing surface to seal and protect it. It consists of a water-based mix of stones and bitumen, which is spread over the existing surface by a special machine. The cost of the work will be $209,200 plus applicable taxes. Town officials recently met with Stantec, the Alberta-based engineering services company that will lead the Park Lake restoration project. In an update to Town Council, administration indicated that for the work to proceed, up to a dozen permit requirements will need to be met through the Canadian Dam Association and other agencies. Those licensing and permit efforts are already well underway, but are still expected to extend into the winter. The town of Neepawa has been asked if it can assist in furnishing the community's newest seniors living facility. Administration and Council recently reviewed a letter from the Executive Director from the Neepawa Kinsman Senior Citizens Housing, Inc. The correspondence asks if there was funding available to help with the furnishing of Kinsman Courts 2, an assisted living residence under construction on the 200 block of Davidson Street. The construction of the building itself has been covered through a CMHC mortgage, but the decor, including furnishings, wall hangings, exercise equipment, recreation supplies, and landscaping, is not. The total cost for those amenities is estimated at around $300,000. Community fundraising has been taking place and is ongoing, but to date has not been enough to cover the total amount needed. Council will review the request at a later date. The town of Neepawa has previously supported the housing project through the sale of the former resource center land to Kinsman for parking. That land was sold at half its assessed value. And the owners of land, most likely known to many in Neepawa as the Chicken Barn property, has asked for a change to its designation. Bray Farms Limited has requested a division to a portion of its lot located just of Westward Ford. I think that means just east of Westward Ford. The intent of the request is to create a 3.44 acre lot for commercial use. The property is currently designated as commercial highway. Council approved the request. Next, we have the Carberry North Cypress Langford News. Here and There by Gladden Scott. Carberry Collegiate 2021 class valedictorians Zara Dixon and Griffin Adrianson, elected by the graduates, will speak early in the exercises Monday, June 28th. Carberry Collegiate graduation can be viewed on the school's website. From 9 to 10 will be the ceremony itself, followed by individual graduates receiving their diplomas from 10:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Award winners will be listed in next week's banner and pressed. See photos of valedictorians on page A20. Oh, here they are, right here. Griffin Adrianson and Zara Dixon. He goes on to say, sporting events and organizers have been badly stymied over the last 15 months. However, several large events are trying to make future plans to restart. Largest and most relevant are the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, which are scheduled for Japan, July 27th to August the 8th. In spite of tremendous issues, especially COVID, and very low vaccination rates in that country. The CFL, the Canadian Football League, starts its season August 5th in Winnipeg, with the Blue Bombers meeting Hamilton Tiger Cats, and ends with the Grey Cup December 12th in Hamilton. Each team is slated for 14 games instead of 18, and minimum salaries were lowered from $65,000 to $50,000. The WHL is slated to start a 68-game schedule on October 1st. There will be no interlocking games between the Eastern and Western conferences. Manitoba has two teams, the Brandon Wheat Kings and the Winnipeg Ice, in the WHL. Kyle Nixon, formerly of Russell, has signed on as head coach of the under-15 male Pilot Mound Academy team for the 2021-22 season. He has taught phys ed in Stonewall, played hockey with Swan Lake in the Tiger Hills and baseball with the Neepawa Cubs in the Santa Clara League. Recently, he completed his Master's of Education in Coaching Studies with the University of Victoria. In Stanley Cup playoffs, the Vegas Golden Knights, with 18,000 rabid fans and several Manitobans like Kelly McCrimmon, Mark Stone, Ryan Reeves, and Zach Whitecloud, split the first 2 games with the Montreal Canadiens, who have a Westman defender, Joel Edmondson. Actually, tonight is game 6, I think. Congratulations to Jim Schmall and Gerald Buchanan, who recently received their 60-year membership pins with Neepawa Elks from Les Walker, exalted ruler of the Manitoba Elks. 6 decades of community service is quite impressive. Jim and Gerald are former members of the Neepawa Cubs, which they played from 1955 to 1960 and were inducted into the Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame in Morden in 2007. American President Joe Biden signed a recent bill which marked the official end of slavery on June the 19th, 1865. This will be an official holiday annually in the USA, even though 41 Republicans voted against the Emancipation Bill. Galveston, Texas was the last area to hear the good news, although many slaves were still shot when they tried to leave their plantations. And a new minister arrives in Carberry. Carberry's new United Church minister, Emma Simone, who was ordained in an impressive ceremony at Moncton's Mount Royal Church June 14th, arrives in Winnipeg July 1st. The ordination service, which was viewed on Zoom, concluded when her husband Jason presented her with a beautiful stole and a huge hug. Mrs. Simone graduated with a Master's of Divinity degree from the Atlantic School of Theology in Halifax after 5 years of study and preaching in 3 small communities in New Brunswick. Previously, Emma obtained a 4-year science degree, majoring in environmental science at Acadia University, which is in Wolfville, Nova Scotia, which included 4 months in 2008 at the Brandon Research Station. As soprano, she enjoys singing and toured England and Scotland with Acadia Chapel Choir in 2006. Her first service in Carberry will be in August. Jason Simone, who graduated with a degree in communications from the University of New Brunswick, and Emma will quarantine for 2 weeks in Carberry. Carberry is fortunate to attract a talented young couple for the United Church Manse. The MJHL releases their 2021-22 regular season schedule. The Manitoba Junior Hockey League has unveiled its full regular season schedule. For the upcoming year, the 12-team league will have each club playing 52 games in total. For this season, there will be 2 divisions with a heavy emphasis on playing clubs within your own division. For example, the Neepawa Titans, who will be in the Western Division, will face each of their division rivals a total of 8 times, 4 home and 4 road games, for 40 games in total. Neepawa will just face members of the East Division in a total of 12 games, 1 home and 1 road game over the course of the year. The Western Division will consist of the following teams: the Dauphin Kings, Neepawa Titans, Ocean Blizzard, Swan Valley Stampeders, Verdun Oil Capitals, and Wew'suwagapo Wolverines. The Eastern Division, meanwhile, will be comprised of the Portage Terriers, Selkirk Steelers, Steinbach Pistons, Winkler Flyers, Winnipeg Blues, and Winnipeg Freeze. The full schedule can be found at mjhlhockey.ca. And there's an article here about the Kin Club of Neepawa. The Neepawa Kin Club just wrapped up their first of what will be multiple online fundraisers with the Roxy Theatre as their first recipient. A $200 check was presented to the Roxy on Friday, June 18th. Denny Phillips, president of the Neepawa Kin Club, explained that fundraisers are hard to organize with the COVID-19 restrictions, but the club still wanted to do something to support the community. The online fundraiser has proven to be a fun and relatively easy way to do that. The Kin Club has created a Facebook group called Fundraising Games by Neepawa Kin Club, where their first game sold out at the end of May. Phillips noted that they are planning another game to start at the beginning of July, but have not decided on which local organization will benefit this time. The first game ran throughout the month of May, with contestants choosing numbers between 1 and 400. Half of the numbers would be revealed as free, while the others cost $2. In the end, one winner was drawn to receive $200, while the other $200 went to the chosen organization, which was the Roxy in this case. Phillips stated that because they haven't chosen a recipient for the next game, the Kin Club is encouraging local organizations to reach out and request they be considered. The club plans to run several more games, so even if a specific organization is not chosen this time, they may have a chance to benefit from a future fundraiser. Those interested in participating in the next Kin Club fundraising game can join the Facebook group and keep an eye out for when it starts. And here we have a grand lady named Annie Gladden celebrating her 100th birthday. On Monday, June 21st, friends and well-wishers drove by to help Annie Gladden celebrate her 100th birthday. Her birthday was really on Saturday, the 19th. Gladden also received a number of birthday cards for the occasion. Here we have one of the passerbys holding up a sign wishing Gladden a happy birthday. Other cars had balloons, block letters, and other decorations attached to form wishes for a swell birthday. And here she is, sitting outside the Yellowhead Manor watching the parade as it goes by. It appears the parade put quite the smile on her face. Congratulations. And congratulations to some graduates here from above left. Here we have NACI graduate Bailey Enns. Here we have NACI graduate Cole Gilbert. Their ceremony will take place on Saturday, June the 26th. And in Gladstone, William Morton Collegiate, here we have the valedictorian Ariza Collado. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And here we have Rylan Dembo. And here we have Isabel Centino. And the Gladstone School celebration has already taken place on Friday, June the 18th. Now we also have a little bit of extra in the newspaper this week called the Farmer's Advocate. So if I have time, I'll read whatever I can from this section. Here we have a picture of a family, Jamie Porek with his wife Ashton and their children Adley and Beau, along with their dog Bailey. And they're showing off the shop for the Porek's new agriculture equipment repair business. So it goes on to say, there is a new mobile agricultural equipment repair service in the area. It is owned and operated by Jamie Porek. The business is located northeast of Eden, Manitoba. Porek is no stranger to the farming community, having spent 10 years with Rocky Mountain Equipment in Neepawa as a mechanic and road tech. He is a Red Seal mechanic, receiving training at Assiniboine Community College in Brandon. Porrick said we commenced operations 3 months ago with requests for service increasing on a regular basis. The repair shop was erected 3 years ago as part of long-term dream to have my own business. Here I have the option to provide equipment repairs. Presently, the building houses a T7 185 New Holland tractor dismantled into 4 sections awaiting parts to fix transmission issues. Reassembly is expected to take 2 days. The bulk of my business is my ability to reach out to farmers using my mobile service repair truck. It's a 2015 fully equipped vehicle with a crane, tool storage, welder, laptop, and diagnostic tools for all major brands. Porrick commented that he is able to provide service repairs to a wide variety of ag equipment, including tractors, combines, air seeders, swathers, and trucks. He can be contacted by phoning 204-841-0874. Operating Monday to Friday, weekend service can be arranged. Porrick mentioned that he recently became a supplier of 40 North Oil, a lubricant for all types of agriculture equipment. His family comprises of his wife Ashton, daughter Adley, and son Bo. The Porricks have a hobby farm on their property with a cat, dog, donkey, miniature pony, 2 horses, 2 llamas, ducks, and a goose. Jamie concluded by saying, I am able to respond to calls from areas including St. Rose, McGregor, Carberry, Neepawa, Minnedosa, and Parkland. It's been my experience that farmers are able to explain equipment problems and I can plan accordingly. Sometimes a visit to a client necessitates ordering a part and installing it at a future date. My ultimate goal is to look after the farmer and get them up and running as soon as possible. I give them another option besides the dealer. And here's a picture of some of the animals on their hobby farm. Okay, let's see what else there is here. How farmers use drones. The farmers of yesteryear might not be too familiar with their surroundings if they were to visit a modern farm, while the men and women who made their livings as farmers decades ago would no doubt still recognize certain farm features that have withstood the test of time. They might not understand the inner workings of the modern farm, particularly in regard to the role of technology that it plays within the agricultural sector. Technology has changed agriculture in myriad of ways. The methods farmers employ to produce food and improve the efficiency of their operations has changed as technology has evolved. One of the more noticeable changes that's hard to miss on modern farms is the use of agricultural drones. Drones have been around for decades, sometimes referred to as unmanned aerial vehicles or UAVs. Drones can be utilized in ways that can save farmers money and protect the planet. According to SenseFly, the commercial drone subsidiary of Parrot Group, drones can help farmers effectively monitor their crops. With the drone flying overhead, farmers can spot and quickly identify issues affecting their crops before those issues escalate into something larger. Another potential benefit of agricultural drones highlights their role in analyzing soil. Agricultural drones utilize complex mapping functions to gather data about the soil, including areas where it might be stressed. That enables farmers to develop accurate soil samples that can be used to guide decisions in regard to irrigation and fertilization. SenseFly notes that data gathered by drones can help farmers determine the vigor of their crops at various stages of growth. Such information can prevent over-fertilization and overwatering, thereby reducing waste and runoff, benefiting the planet as a result. Drones can be used to collect data on growth crop growth and health at various times throughout the growing season. That can help farmers develop accurate predictions regarding harvest quality and crop yield, making it easier for them to plan ahead. Agricultural drones are one of the many examples that illustrate how technology has changed and will continue to change the ways modern farmers conduct business. And here we have a picture here of Manitoba Youth Beef Roundup. It took place at the Agricultural Fairgrounds in Neepawa. That's where this picture was. And this year's roundup will take place virtually on August the 1st. The Roundup Committee is excited to announce that the Manitoba Youth Beef Roundup 2021 will be held August 1st, with winners announced that day. Instead of a 3-day event with the restrictions, it will be a virtual event with many interesting and exciting classes to participate in. All junior members up to the age of 25 are eligible from purebred or commercial beef herds in the province. The committee has come up with classes of heifer calves, bull calves, brad heifers, cow and calf, along with a steer class. Many of you had many videos for your 4-H programs, so the work is already done. Cash prizes will be awarded. Along with the cattle events will be a select group of competitions like speeches, judging, and more. Watch for more details coming soon on our Facebook page or www.mbyouthbeefroundup.weebly.com. The entry deadline is July the 2nd, 2021, and entry forms will be online as of June the 21st. So, for the last page to read this week, it's a couple of agricultural scenes from the past. I don't know how good you can see them, but this first, it's quite interesting. Though these photos have no names, information, nor dates to go with them, both provide a look at agricultural scenes from the years past. Above is a group that appears to be transporting their goods, perhaps to storage or to trade. The bags inside the carts are likely to be full of grain, which was once hauled by that method. Each bag was to hold a specific amount, no less and no more. And on the right we have, it says, well, this is a puzzler, isn't it? What story do our readers suppose might be behind this photo of an individual standing, and it's a woman, standing on top of a cow without her shoes on and having a great big smile? That's what we'll end with this week. So thank you for joining us for this week's Neepawa Banner and Press. I hope you'll join us next week, and we'll see you then. Bye for now.